CEO of LAN Infotech. He's also a very big chamber member. You sit on the board of directors, don't you? So he has more than 30 years experience in the information technology industry as a technology business analyst. He distills it's supposed to say dispels complicated IT issues into real life, relatable examples of solutions. And his engaging delivery style makes him a regular speaker at the Association of Legal Administrators, Microsoft, and chamber events in South Florida. LAN Infotech is a professional information technology consulting and engineering firm. They have been delivering high-value IT solutions for law firms and other businesses for 20 years. February 2013 and February 2014, they were nominated to the MS Prementor 501 Global Edition list. June 2014, 15, 16, and 17, they were named to the top South Florida IT consulting firms list. And in March 2014, they were nominated to the CRN Managed Service Provider 250 list. They are also one of South Florida Business Journal's fastest growing companies and is the recipient of Microsoft's 2014, 15, 16 Community Connections Southeast Partner of the Year. He was also elected to the Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and Chamber of their Information Technology Committee. So without any further ado, I welcome Michael Goldstein.
And on last week's Business Journal that was in there, we actually number 5 on the top fastest growing technology companies by percentage. So that was in last week's journal. So again, thank you for having me, and sorry for the long bio. It's one of those things that are out there. So I wanted to take the opportunity today to just introduce you to our company as an IT services company, talk about what we're doing in the community, and some of the things that we're out there talking almost. This is my 3rd one this week. This is probably my 8th speaking in this month, because October is also Cyber Awareness Month. And whether you're a business owner that's sitting in front of Facebook on your company's internet, or you're just a home worker or a retired person out there, cybersecurity affects every single one of us. So let me just go through the quickie little sales things. I think you heard enough of who we are and what we do. And these are a lot of awards that we go out there and we're pretty proud of. So locally, last year we were Fort Lauderdale Small Business of the Year, Friday's Award, a bunch of things that are out there. And I think it's important that people differentiate themselves out there, because in my industry, maybe like some of your other industries, anybody with a cell phone on their hand says that they know how to fix your computers. And in most businesses today, if your computer is down, your clients are unhappy. You can't go out there and run a credit card in this restaurant that's in place, and in some of your other businesses that might have a point of sale or some connection. If your computers are down, people are unhappy. So for community, we're 20 people. My 2 sons work for me, so I've been in the South Florida community probably 25 years. I have a 32-year-old and a 28-year-old. I didn't stick Glenn in the grandson picture. 4 months ago, I had a grandson that's out there, so I've been using him for every presentation that I've done. But from Pompano, from Deerfield all the way down to Miami, we feel that we have to invest in the chambers. David Reese over here on the board of directors of Pompano Chamber that's out there. I'm on the board of directors of Fort Lauderdale, and I do run the technology committee. One of the big things for us to go out is we really do feel like we have to get out in the community. And this logo up here called InfoGuard. Any business owner that believes a little in cybersecurity, once a quarter I get together with local Department of Homeland Security, CIA, DHS, FBI, and we get to go to different areas and actually see what's happening out in the community that affects the cyber piece. And what I bring up with a lot of communities is that whatever you feel about our federal government on there, these little things that they're looking at every day, especially on the Secret Service, is real important. I'll share with you a quick cyber story that they told us last time. Everybody worries about their credit cards, right? If you do not have your monitoring on for your credit card transactions, or read those statements every single month, there's a problem. So the guy that ended up talking about this is that he started talking about the credit card skimming industry, meaning that we've all might have seen a story on TV, you might have gone and done something, and everyone kind of says, hey, before I stick my card in one of those gas stations or one of those ATMs, the old story is that if you pull on it a little, if something comes out, that's a fake reader. Well, the story the FBI decided to share with us is that we've noticed that in every town, these large 20-pump gas stations are opening up. And if you go to, I won't say this was about Wawa because they didn't tell us, but if you go to Wawa, I'm a regular user, I live in West Boca, and you go out there and you look at those machines and they're sealed, right? There's a lock on there. I have a new American Express card that I don't even have to stick my card in anymore, I touch it to it. So you would figure that if the machines are sealed and I put my credit card in, I might be good. Well, the FBI raided a station in Miami, and they found that inside of these machines, someone found a way to open up these machines and put a little device connected to the pump. Now, again, all of these stations have cameras. 22 pumps had these devices that would go out there and skim your credit card electronically. FBI and Secret Service came in, shut the station down, pulled out all of these boards that were inside the machine. So again, I keep saying, inside a sealed, locked machine. And they found that these boards were made in China. So they decided that they would go out there and order these boards, just to show you how the criminals don't care. So the Secret Service agent showed us the website. He ordered 1,000 of these $99 boards, put the delivery address of the Secret Service headquarters in Doral, put his name, comma, his Secret Service ID, paid for that on his Secret Service credit card, and the order went through. Because all of us kind of say, well, is there a way to stop this? The next day he received an email back from the company and he said that, hey, when I saw that subject, I figured they got on that I am buying these illegal boards and I do work for the Secret Service. But instead he got back an email saying, thank you for your large order. We're going to apply a 25% discount and free shipping. So these boards came back and he showed it to us. 2 months later, he lived in that neighborhood and decided, let me just go back to that Wawa and find that station owner to open up those, and those boards came back. So in reality, cyber criminals could affect your financial pieces that are out there, and everybody has to be aware. And that if you're not using an IT services company that's there, I like the roofing quote that was in there, making sure that your computer system has to be kept up to date. If you go out and have a problem, it's not your friend's best friend's husband that goes out there and maybe goes out and solves it. You really do have to seek out an IT professional. Now, clients that we deal with, but more importantly, if you can't read this, this is actually something that I picked up on a sales call that I went to at a large company. So I'll read you the sheet, and this is something that I took a picture of. Password change sign-in sheet hung up in the coffee room of a large company. Now, in there it asks for their full name, the system that they need access to, right? Whether it's, if you're in real estate, it's Yardi, it could be, I just need access to Facebook. Please write down your current password, and then write down what you want your new password to be. So these things are real things that are out there. You can only laugh, and then one of the guys put up the post-it, come see me, and they picked on one guy. This is what I deal with on an everyday as an IT professional. That we're out there, we hear that whether it's my credit card showed up, I'm getting an email. I think Glenn, who works for me over here, sent me an email today that someone sent him that says, hey, we need 25 gift cards for the Rotary Club, could come from you, but it's really not that. And sometimes we laugh at these things because really, someone would actually put their password and their new password up there. People do this every single day. And the cyber criminals prey on this all the time. Just a little mismatch of what we deal with in the cyber world. Now, I always talk about personal stories. So this weekend I was at a wedding in Beacon, New York, up near Fishkill. And the fancy hotel that the family stayed in was an old school warehouse. It was a gorgeous wedding. I flew back to Florida on Sunday, and on Monday, my wife kept telling me, the groom's mom kept sending these Facebook messages that had videos from the wedding but it asked me to put a username and password. So my wife has heard me speak about this 100 times. She thought it was a little weird. The bride was actually a large-scale executive from Pepsi, and a lot of the people that stayed in that hotel. So they called me on Monday night, I spoke to their friends of mine, and everybody that stayed in that hotel, which was maybe under 20 people that were connected to the public Wi-Fi, all had their Facebook and social media accounts hacked. Now, you think it happens every day. I didn't stay in that hotel, but as she started calling other people that were there, all of their accounts. So these poor people went out and these videos went out to everyone in their Facebook. Now think about this. The bad guy knew that they had a wedding. They attacked a bunch of people that were out there, and this is in the middle of nowhere. If you Google where Beacon, New York is, it's an artsy little town in Eastern New York. So these are the kind of things that we're kind of seeing every day, and these are everyday occurrences. So I wanted to just show you a couple of stats. I just have to switch over to this screen here. So we try to, I could sit here and talk till I'm blue in the face, but these are real stats. This is the Department of Homeland Security. 600,000 email accounts get hacked every single day, okay? And this is what they know of. 47% of adult Americans have had some personal information exposed by cyber criminals. And then 1 in 3 homes have some computers that are affected by malware. What does this mean for you? For the business, this is bad. Because in reality, if you're a small business and you're maintaining some credit card or personal information, you're a house of worship, you're a school, we all have choices in business. So if I was utilizing a CPA that I had to report that had got hacked, it's embarrassing. You're 1 click away from going out of business. But more importantly, personally, what does this mean? And how can you protect yourself? Well, if you ever had a fraudulent tax claim filed against you, it takes a good 2 to 3 years to prove that that wasn't you, even though it was kind of crazy, if you even know about it. Things show up on your credit report. The bad guys are out there looking every single day to get something from each and every one of you. Another quick story that happened to me, that Friday before the hurricane. I went out like probably a lot of you, and I probably went to 6 different gas stations, every Walmart to try to get things, Lowe's, Home Depot. And that night I got a call from American Express. And American Express said, Mr. Goldstein, I want to verify 3 charges before, and I want to make sure that you're you and you know it's me. So they asked about 3 specific charges on my credit card, and I remember one of them was Wawa for $24.71. They read me off the charges. They then texted me a number that I repeated back to them, and I said, yep, that's my charges. I got a similar call on Sunday, and then I got a similar call on Tuesday. Hurricane passes, I went to go check on my flight reservations for this past weekend up on American Express. And when I logged in, the flights look good. And my retirement travel is hundreds of thousands of American Express miles. And as I looked on there, I saw the number 6,900. And I knew that I had a lot more than 6,900 miles up there. I proceeded to click on there, and I looked that on September 2nd, that Monday of Labor Day, hundreds of $50 iTunes cards were drained out of my account. So they went in there, they knew a lot of my information, maybe from one of the phone calls that they'd gotten out of me, and drained almost all the miles that were in my account for these $50 cards.
You gave the information?
What was that?
You gave them the information?
I didn't give them the information. So on 3 different calls, right, they called and validated 3 charges and texted me. Now I will tell you that if you deal with American Express, they usually ask the 4-digit code. On one of the calls, they actually asked me for the 3-digit code on the back of the card, which I thought was a little weird, but they had texted me the information. Now remember, 3 charges, it wasn't like that I had a $100 pre-authorization at the gas station. These were individual charges. Went back, I got the fraud prevention people on the phone. They credited me back all the miles that were out there, and I had to spend close to 2.5 hours cleaning up all of my personal data. Okay, Al, for questions. So what I ended up doing is it was 8:30 at night. I had the guy that I know he was a manager, at least they're all managers, And he said, please, Mr. Goldstein, take your time. I have 40 other calls holding at 8 at night. We go through this 7 by 24. I asked him how he knew the charges. So I had to change all my personal data again. And that night, after my wife fell asleep, I will tell you from 10:30 to 2:30 in the morning, I changed 900 of my 1,200 passwords. Now, keep in mind, people say, oh my God, how do you have 1,200 passwords? I do business with 4 banks, I'm in my chamber sites, I'm in my kids' school accounts. And what I did is I had it pick 18 characters that were random, because in the IT field I felt violated that when they cashed in these cards, they knew a lot of information about me. And I don't know how they got that. Now, this was a Wednesday. On Friday after that, I get another call to my office on my cell phone, and the caller ID does say American Express. And I got a very foreign voice asking me questions. Now, the one thing the American Express fraud management told me that is if American Express specifically calls you, they don't need any of your information because they know it. So when this guy called, this is after I changed all of my information, they said, Mr. Goldstein, we're here to validate 3 charges. They go through and they ask the exact 3 charges, 3 different charges. I went online, I checked it, and they were actually asking charges on my personal American Express card. So I let him go his piece, asked me the numbers, and then he asked me the 3 numbers again. And I explained to him, I said, hey, you know, if you're really American Express, you wouldn't be asking me these questions. And I hung up. I dialed the 800 number on my card, I got the fraud prevention people, and they didn't have anything in their system at all that fraud prevention was calling me. So again, somewhere, some way, they had 3 of my charges to validate you, just to show you that you're just not protected anywhere. So it's important that you go out there and monitor your charges, go out there that you have information about you that only you know. So it's not my mother's maiden name, the year that I was born in. You think about the security questions that go out there. Doesn't.
But based on the questions and the posts and the information he was asking, the American Express would never ask you that. So I told him to hang up the phone and call American Express fraud. However, the number that they called him from was spoofed and it was exactly the
Right.
American Express fraud number. So don't ever redial. Go to the website and plug in which number yourself.
Or American Express said to me, look on the back of your card, depending on what color your card is, because it all leads to the same number. Now, when I checked, it was interesting because the 800 number that they called from I Googled it, it actually said American Express Centurion.
And this one was the actual fraud for American Express that you find on their website. So they spoof numbers. Don't ever trust the number.
Don't redial, don't go through this. So,
They never asked you to validate any information. They were asking for the 4-digit code. Unfortunately for him, he was on the phone there for so long by the time I heard it, the code was erased, so he couldn't give it to them. So they were making him go home to look at his statements to get. I said, hang on.
yeah. So I always say that why this is important from the business. These are things that happen to me personally. Think about if it happened to your business. So things that I tell people to go out there and better protect themselves. Number 1 is make sure that you have a great password. That password shouldn't be something that you advertise out on your Facebook page. Kids, dogs, pictures, my favorite album, things along those lines. Think about my wedding story. Someone knew that they were getting married. The lady is a very high profile Pepsi rep. I mean, I tell people that the guys don't care. I mean, I'm in Starbucks on 441 and Hillsborough every morning. I stop by there every morning. I put my headphones on, I get an hour of work. I see what people do. Next time you're in a public cafe, see what people that aren't here that maybe didn't hear this, what they actually do. People leave their phones out there. People ask me once a month, can you watch this? Because I'm usually dressed like this, I have headphones on, I don't want to talk, I'm there to do work. But these are the people that are our co-workers. I pick on my 23-year-old all the time because he could care less what he clicks on and what he does and that type of stuff. So it's important that you pick your password. It's important that you monitor your account. I think that you probably can't watch network news between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. and not hear the word dark web. Dark web is a place that all of your data, every credit card in your pocket is worth pennies on the dollar to the bad guys. The bad guys are always out there. I always say, I'll bring it in, I have a device in the trunk of my car that makes me your Wi-Fi provider. I can simulate the Galuppi's Wi-Fi, and as you connect up to me, I can pick your data out of your phone. So in reality, and I just watched YouTube for that. I bought something on a public website. So the cyber world is, you just can't shake it out, because if everyone sits there and says, I'm just a small business and no one's gonna care about me, then it becomes an epidemic that's out there. So I say, pick a good password that's out. Make sure that you know the Wi-Fi that you're on. I actually never use public Wi-Fi. I'll never ever go on in an airport on Wi-Fi, and I'll actually never charge my phone in one of those public charging devices. Because next time you plug your phone in, I just flew JetBlue. You know, I had something in there, you plug your phone in, it says on your phone, do you want to allow them to have access to your phone? When you say yes in those charging stations, especially Miami Airport, they're guys that pry that stuff out, put something in there, and gather the information from your phone. And then someone usually rolls their eyes and looks at me and said, what would they want with my phone? Think about the information that you guys text back and forth. I text, my son always asks me for some of the Go passwords. You know, you send pictures. I help manage my elderly in-laws stuff. I have pictures of their driver's license. I have things that are there. Bad guys are always looking out for a mark. They don't care where you are, what you are, and these public locations, be a people watcher next time. So pick a really good password that only you know. I always refer back to that Seinfeld where George wouldn't give his PIN number. Google it if you didn't see it. Let the guy in there. I don't share my password. I pick a password that's something unique. I don't let my assistants have it. I don't let my kids have it. And I'm sure you know someone that if you walked up to their monitor or you walked up to their desk, I usually feel under the desk, there's a Post-it with a password that's there. These are things that guys look for. So also make sure that on whatever device that you're using, whether it's a PC or a Mac, that you have some paid antivirus. Again, that's just like if you believe in taking the flu shot or not. Maybe it'll protect you, but you're better off having something than nothing. And then if you own an iDevice, you know how Apple consistently puts those updates out? And if you don't do those updates, you keep seeing the numbers that are up there? PCs and Macs are the same way. The reason why they're putting those updates out is because they screwed up. They want to fix something. So bad guys read that and they find devices just on public Wi-Fi to either cause mischief or go out there and steal data. The person that hacked my friend's password on Facebook, what did they get? They just got a laugh because they got to see all that. But next time it could be your credit card information. And always seek out an IT professional. And I'll say lastly, you must make sure that you back up your data. So, I have 95,000 pictures. I've been shooting digital pictures since '96. I back up that data to 6, 7 places. I have, we all have unreplaceable memories that are on there. And you gotta make sure that the backup works. You gotta make sure that you really are getting a backup. Because a lot of things that you click on today, it isn't just the old school, oh, I have a virus, I'll go find the IT guy to fix it. What they do now is they encrypt your data, meaning that you look at the files on your PC or your Mac, and instead of it saying my resume, my kids' pictures, it's all crazy letters. And what they do when you click on it is they hold you hostage. I know that I know how to buy Bitcoin, but I'm sure a majority don't even know what I'm talking about or how to get that. The guys hold you hostage, and the only way that you can get this back is to pay a criminal some money to unlock it, or you have to hope that you have a good backup and find an IT professional to go out there. So pick a good password, have antivirus, patch, and make sure that what data is important to you, business and personal, is backed up and that you test that backup. And it affects every one of us in the room. Thank you.
Michael, if you'll just stay up here for just a second. One of the things that we do for every one of our speakers is we inoculate some children. We're going to inoculate 25 children in your honor for coming and speaking with us today. So thank you so much for coming. He's going to stay around for questions, but he's going to let us end on time, which thank you very much. Because I have some hostile people here. We don't end on time.